Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name's Steve and this is a 5-minute review of The Numbers Station from 2013. The film stars John Cusack, Malin Akerman, seen most recently in TV shows Billions. She was in the film Rampage with The Rock, but I also remember her as the Silk Spectre 2 from Watchmen in 2009. The film also stars Cunningham from Game of Thrones, who's played the Onion Knight. John Cusack plays Emerson, a Black Ops CIA agent who's apparently lost his nerve as he won't kill an innocent woman. So essentially he's been sent to the middle of nowhere. Normally in films it's Alaska. In this case it's a broadcast station in the middle of quiet, sunny England. Now here's where the film gets a little bit Mission Impossible and slightly over the top. But the basic premise is that agents in the field can't trust traditional lines of communications, whether they're encoded or not. So they have these little special books that essentially look like Sudoku puzzles, and they have a code transmitted to them, which they can then decode. But each station needs a code operator to translate it, and Emerson's only job is to babysit her and keep her safe, because she's a sort of a wizard with numbers and maths and so on. Inevitably something goes wrong, and Emerson, with the decoder, Catherine, the old code operator, are locked inside this numbers station, which is built on an abandoned army base in England. Is actually filmed on site as well. Someone's trying to break in and kill them, and that's kind of the basic premise of the film. It's quite a small cast in some ways. It feels like it's almost a play. There's a ticking clock aspect to the film. You've got people trying to drill their way in through the door. You've got the mystery of what happened to them before they arrived at the station. What happens to the other team as it's 12 hours on, 12 hours off, I think. So the story isn't too complicated. John Cusack's character Emerson is supposed to be a sort of sociopath, the person that can kill without any remorse or emotion, so he's fairly bland. And I'd like to believe that he's doing it because that's what required of the character, but at times in this film it did feel like he was sleepwalking through it. Even when there was moments where he was showing emotion, it didn't really feel like he was there at all. So I did some digging into his IMDb, and since 2012, Cusack has averaged about 4 films a year. And the film that this came out, 2013, he had 6 films come out that year and an episode of the TV show, and he had the same in 2014. So he's either the hardest working man in Hollywood, or he's almost become the new Nicolas Cage, who will say yes to anything. In some ways, his character Emerson feels like a bland version of the character that he played from Grosse Pointe Blank, Martin Blank, although in this case he's exceptionally flat, he's miserable, he has no life, no sense of humour and not much of a personality. So it's quite difficult to really care about him in the film. The whole point of the film for this character is that he actually cares about someone and he's trying to get involved with other people and become more like a real boy, if you like, because it was the fact that he couldn't kill someone at the start and now he's being told to do it again, but he's trying to save someone instead. So maybe I'm being too hard on him. Maybe he's trying to play the yin and yang balance of somebody that is emotionless, who's trying to be emotional and care, but it was really an uneven performance, and that's me being generous. Malin does her best with material. The character's tough but sensitive. She's intelligent but also driven. And I believed her performance and actually liked her character. She's somebody who's really trying to do her best in a very difficult situation. She's willing to risk her life for other people and solve this problem that's been created by these people, these sort of terrorists who are trying to get into the base. So it's a good little thriller. It's only 89 minutes. That puts it just under an hour and a half, and it manages to keep the pace up throughout the whole film. There are a few nice moments to build character, so it's not always rush, but once the action does get going, it doesn't really let up. So you're not actually bored watching the film. It's just that I'd hoped and expected more from the performances, in particular John Cusack, because I wanted him to keep me engaged. So the ticking clock aspect of the film really helped. There's a couple of unexpected twists, but there was nothing too major. It was shot on an interesting location. It was on a bunker in a former airbase in the UK, so that was quite a novel twist that we've not really seen before. So overall, it's a solid and enjoyable film. I'm not going to say that it's bad, but it's not something that I'll go back and watch again. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 and say it's worth a look if you have the time. So If you have seen this film, get in touch with us and let us know. You can contact us in all of the usual ways, via email, Facebook. You can leave us a message below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. If you like what you do and you like to support us, we're also on Ko-fi. We have new episodes coming out every week with my co-host and also the occasional guest. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe this channel to get weekly episodes.